So, this is our fourth episode of Back to Black, and this time we're with Dr. Thato. Welcome to Back to Black. We are honored to have you with us. Thank you for blessing us with your graceful grace and graceful presence. So, Dr. Thato, how are you?
I'm doing very well. Thank you very much for that lovely introduction. And yeah, I'm looking forward to can see how can I be of help. You know.
Yes, I see your certificate on the wall. I'm very impressed. Oh gosh. Hopefully we'll reach the stage, guys. Guys, graduates of this year, we'll reach the stage, guys. We pray to Jesus. And so we're very thankful for having you here with us today.
Thanks.
So our first question to start off, we're going to start off with looking back at how you got to this stage of your life. So our first question we are going to ask is, when did you decide to get into the medical field?
A very good question. Thank you for the question. And I do not know if it's right or correct of me to say that I decided, you know, to join or to be part of the medical fraternity at a very early age. You know, I was very lucky that, you know, when I grew up, a former MEC of Health in Northwest, Dr. Madlhophe was my neighbor. So he's someone that I was looking up to. And I said that one day I would like to be like that man. One day I would like to see myself in that. So he actually came in, you know, to kind of enhance what I've always wanted to be at an early age of about 6 or so. But
Wow.
without any, and I'm really, you know, grateful, you know, to the Almighty that, you know, it's not at all times that you wish or you want to be somewhere and you end up being there, you know. There are a lot of people that might have chosen to be lawyers, to be doctors, to be engineers, to be teachers and anything, but they never managed to for whatever reason. So I'm really, you know, grateful and, you know, for the blessings.
Yeah. So what is your level of education?
I've studied MBCHB, and prior to that I did Bachelor of Science.
Okay.
Bachelor of Science in the Medical University of South Africa, now known as University of Limpopo, or Dr. Sefako Makhato University. It has got so many names since then, but I practiced, I studied, you know, Bachelor of Science. I majored in mathematics, psychology,
Yes,
as well as biology.
Oh.
So those were my majors. I did 3 majors, and yeah. So I could be what you can be calling a psychotechnician if I would have written any exams or registered under psychology. I would be a psychotechnician. From there you become a psychometrist, or then end up becoming a psychologist. But because the love of medicine has always been something that I wanted to be or to be part of, so I went on back to study, you know, MBCHB, which is Bachelor of Medicine and Bachelor of Surgery. So it's actually 2 surgeries that are running concurrently. That is why MBCHB, so it's 2 degrees. It's Bachelor of Medicine and Bachelor of Surgery.
Guys, get educated. I'm learning a lot of things. So how did you get into the medical school? Did you go by like a bursary? Did you save up money? Did you work towards getting into the medical school of your choice? Or was it just like, okay, I've got to work hard, get good grades?
A very good question that you're asking there. It's been tough times, really. And there was no bursary when I started, and thanks to Dr. Madlhophe, who also contributed, towards my studies in my very first, year or so. And also obviously you are looking up to parents, and parents will do all that it takes to make sure that you manage to get that. So so initially it was parents, and the other help from the other practitioners like the doctor that I'm telling you about, that were of helpful, and some of the family members, I must be honest, because though they were not paying towards tuition, but they were paying towards one's well-being. You are in a foreign place, you are banking on someone of the family members who can be of help with that. So everyone plays a role, because you were now not, it was not all by yourself.
True.
Each and everyone, they wanted to see and make sure that at least in the family we have got someone that will be showing way to the others that are coming from. Because remember that, if you remember very well, I said to you, what enhanced my becoming a doctor and wanting to be a doctor, I saw someone that was already there. Now, how would it be if the others are seeing the good out of what I'm doing and they're following on that? And so it's based on that. But at the later stages, I did find advisory inside. One of the provinces, managed to engage in the pattern. So that's about it.
So why didn't you choose to specialize in addition to your education?
A very good question. And the short answer to that is that I came to realize that not all of us will be specialists. I decided very early, even my core friends when we are still in the university, it's about 6 of us. And we are still doing our 4th year or so. And I made it very clear from them that now I'm not going to specialize. Should I specialize? Maybe I might end up in this specialty. But I think that we cannot all be specialists. Others will have to be general practitioners, and with the love of a certain specialty that one would want to choose. So if really I needed to specialize, it means that I had to do all the specialties because I love medicine. And so it means that I had to be an ophthalmologist, I had to be a cardiologist, I had to be a physician. So all these are years on it. So I was not going to stop. So that is why I decided to be a general practitioner. At least I will be a specialist.
In all fields? In
all fields, but not really a specialist, if you understand what I mean.
Yes.
So that's about it. But it's a choice, to be honest. I won't lie to you and say that because I was not good at this and no. It's just a pure choice.
Okay. So now ending off, coming back from your past, do you believe being in a medical profession is a calling?
That's not a very so easy question to answer. I hope that it was a calling for me. And the only time I can call it a calling, or I can say that it's a calling, that will be based on I think the right people who can answer that question will be my patient.
Okay.
Because I can think that it's a calling. But when you are called for something, it means the people that you are being given to, they must get something out of that. And then they say that, oh, indeed, this we really got something out of this man or out of this person. So then you can call it a calling. But I cannot, I really, that is why I was saying that it's a difficult question to want to answer. So my patients, or the ones that have got contact with me in a form of them looking for answers or for help, and how I come across to them, they're the ones that can tell that it's a calling or not. I can think that I'm doing a good job, and 98% of the people say that, wow, this man is just next to anything that is being called a doctor. Now, that is not a calling.
Okay.
The calling has got nothing to do with you, but it has got everything to do with the people that you've been given to.
Or that you serve as well.
That you serve, yes, that's it. Thank you.
Now that I get an answer, I'm like, it takes me back to my own answer. Now I'm gonna reverse when I get home, definitely. Being a general practitioner, why is it important for a patient to know their patient right, or in other words, hospital or health rights?
Once more, a very good question that you're asking. I think it's always important for people to know their rights. We are in a free country. Before, we never used to know anything, we never used to be part of certain laws, regulations, we never used to have access to those. But a patient, before someone becomes a patient, is a human being. So there are basic human rights. I feel and I believe that people have got to be treated as human beings before they're treated as patients. And yes, they've got the right to know what is wrong in their body and how can they access help to that. That is why they came to the doctor. And they are not objects. So as a doctor, I need to make you aware that, Mama, we've got these problems. And these problems, if we leave them, you might end up having this as a problem, or this as a complication, we call that. But here are the options that are available. And these are the pros and cons, advantages and disadvantages. But you've got the right to say no. You've got the right to say yes, to the options that I'm giving you. But at least, so you have to, it's your right. By the way, you are not being forced as a patient to can agree to anything that the doctor tells you that you say, ask for options that are available. That what options do I have out there? And if you are not happy about options, go and look for another opinion. Go and get a second opinion. There's nothing wrong with that. Then you can make a decision, based on that, and then you now have what we call an informed decision to make. But you cannot just make a decision out of anything. So it's very important that you can.
Do you also think if the patient is not, how can I say it, not in a place where they can make an informed decision, that the family should then step in and then, for example, say you as the GP or the doctor, you don't feel like it's the right decision that the family made, are you as the doctor then to say, looking at the options that we have, I think A is the best option for this patient, and let's say the family chose option C, for example, are you then obliged to tell the family why option A is much better than C, or do you go by what the family has said?
Thank you for the question. But I'm just trying to see into this. Where is the family coming in here? How does a family make a decision for someone? I assume that in that case, a person is not in the position
to make that informed decision.
To make that informed decision. Maybe it's a person, it's someone is ventilated.
Yeah.
Is that what it was? Okay. Look, it's important because at that level, remember that it's a family now. Okay. Remember that it's a family, and then with the family that is there, remember whenever you get yourself into a hospital, you sign what we call a consent form. A consent form, it means now that you are handing over your rights to the practitioner at that stage. But because we are human beings, we are not really that difficult as practitioners. We always feel like it's important for the family also to be part of that.
Yeah.
And that is why we would also discuss, we would also let you know, as a family, that this is where we are at, this is what we are facing, and these are the options, and these are the possibilities, and these are the problems we might come across. So yes, in that regard, because now we are not the ones that we'll be talking to, we'll then shift that responsibility to the family, to can be discussing with them. But that does not give them 100%.
Oh, really?
The reason I'm saying that it does not give them 100% decision on that, it also depends on the surrounding.
Okay.
Factors, that might be coming with the decision that they're coming to. For an example, as a practitioner, I know what is good.
Yes.
For you as a patient. Yes, I took an oath, and my oath is to make sure that I give all that is there to can save your life through God's grace, obviously.
Yeah.
But the family might have different opinion when it comes to that. So I think it is not going to be easy for if my belief is that yes, I think we can save this person, and the family says no, leave it.
Yeah.
Leave it. I think it's too much. We've had too much. Let's switch on off all these machines. Obviously, I'll take different onto that and say that no. At least let me try and see what is it that I can do. I hope I answered.
It did, honestly. Because like, that question for me is very controversial, looking at people and their circumstance as well. Because it's kind of difficult when you're being called as a family and called upon to make a decision on someone's behalf. And half of the family is against it, half of the family is for it. They're like, but as a doctor, I convince this. And it's like, yeah, but some of us do not believe in maybe Western medication or how the approach is being taken. So it's kind of very difficult, but then as well it's like we have to trust the judgment because they know what they're doing. So at the end of the day, it's 50-50, 50-40.
And we should also believe in God.
Exactly.
Remember that is the one that gives life.
Yeah.
And is the one that takes life. As much as I may think that I've got the knowledge and all of that, you can do that. If it's not the time, if it's not the time to live, you won't. But if God has said that your race is 100 meters, it ends here. No matter who you are, and you feel like this person can run 102 meters.
It won't.
So, yeah, that's all.
Alright. In terms of credentials of being or becoming a doctor, what is required for a practitioner to obtain their medical license?
Medical license.
Do you call it medical license? Am I wrong to say medical license?
Okay. I will just say something, and then you will tell me if that has answered your question. I'm starting from high school.
Okay.
From high school, you know that you've got to do what we call pure or natural science subjects, and most institutions will expect you to be amongst those.
Yeah, the top chance.
You must have passed well in your sciences. Mathematics, obviously, it's a class. You need to do that. So then from there, you would be taken in. Hopefully, you would have applied for studying.
Yes.
Most of young people these days, they don't apply. They apply September.
Okay, you must apply as a student.
Yeah. So you need to do that. So your grade 9 and your grade 11 results, very important. So
Sure.
those are the results that you're going to use to go and apply. Look into that. At least you've applied with those results, and you can be, your application can be declined based on those. So it's very important for you that knows that you would like to do this. Make sure that you pass your grade 11. But at the same time, that does not mean that because your grade 11 results were not good, you might as well as just throw in a towel and say that no. Work very hard and make sure that by the time that you get to that, the end of the year, you've got good grades which you can submit. The decision can be made by the decision makers of the institution. And then from there you have been absorbed now to a medical school. Medical school that runs for 6 years.
Not 7?
No.
Are we doing that too?
No. It runs for 6 years.
Okay.
When you run for 6 years, after the 6th year, you take an oath, you are now a doctor, but you are going to now work in a hospital as an intern.
Oh, okay.
Intern, that is what we call the 7th year.
Oh.
But you are a doctor, you are already earning some money.
Hey.
Doctor
somebody.
Exactly, a doctor somebody. So in that year, and then from there, I think you also do an extra year of community service because you have to give some time to the community. And it's only after then that now you are now you can be registered as an independent practitioner or a general practitioner. You can decide what you want to do. You want to go back to school, you want to open your own practice, or whatever that you want to do. I mean, that's it. So you can only do that after you've done what you call community service.
Okay.
So it's no longer 7, it's 8.
Guys, good luck. Oh, thank you. So, I'm sorry. What's this doing? Okay. How does a doctor or doctors protect themselves from lawsuit or a patient's dissatisfaction?
Times are changing.
Yeah.
It comes, I think there's one question that you asked there. If I remember very well, the question was about the rights
Yeah.
of the patient. Yes, initially. So protecting ourselves from lawsuits is to try at all times to abide by what is expected, to respect that patient as a human being. Give space to a human being. See a human being first before you see a patient. I would want to believe that is the best, an honorable thing to do, and that is what will protect you. Obviously, that does not give you the right to mishandle or to mistreat, the poor human being whom we now call a patient. But I think it's only fair, being human. Being human, it must come automatically.
Yeah.
As practitioners, because you are dealing with someone's life. You should not see me as a high being that is there.
Yeah.
I should not see you as someone down there, but I should see you as a fellow human being. As you are here, you are representing my sister. You are representing my daughter. You are representing any human being. So that is what I should see whenever I look into someone, regardless of the circumstances the person finds himself in. That is the best way of running away from a lawsuit. But if you are not a human being, you will also be treated not like a human being.
Very true. I hope future doctors take it out there, like what you said, obviously, as well. Because it's not every day where you get like a doctor that's not only friendly, but like regards you as a human being first, than any other thing first. So I hope you become a doctor one day. What do people take for granted when being advised by a doctor?
There are a lot of changes now lately. You know, the days we live in today, there's a lot of technology that has taken over. And there's Dr. Google. Okay? And we can't take anything away from Dr. Google. And I don't know if he's a human being. I don't know if he went to medical school. But those are just some of the things, you know, that, you know, sometimes it's important for one to have information. Look, don't get me wrong, knowledge is power.
True.
You know, but it's how you apply that knowledge. You know, it's how you come across with that knowledge that will make you a different being. You know, but people sometimes they take for granted what we get or that they may get from a practitioner because of the influence they might have received from Dr. Google. So Dr. Google might be of help, he might also not be of help, because remember that patients are not books, and books are not patients.
True.
What I mean by that is that you are a human being, and you can come across with the same, you can have stress as a human being, young as you are, and you can come across as someone with some other, you know, you might relate, your stress might come across as this, somebody else might be having stress as well, and her or his stress come this way. Exactly, but Dr. Google sometimes does not give you.
So, medical resources such as medical drugs, if I'm not saying medical drugs or medical resources, that's how I stated it here, are available to people who cannot afford medical aid. Are those being provided? Medical resources. So, in other words, I'm trying to say, is public and private the same in terms of medical resources and getting to people much faster? And are people allowed and fortunate to receive the medical resources or the medical advance that private provides?
That's a very good question. The unfortunate part of things is that there is a vast difference between medical, between provincial, what we call government, as well as what we call public versus private resources. There's a big difference. But here we are today. We are living in those days of COVID-19. It has come to endorse and actually show us that both systems are actually not on par at all. There's a big difference. As much as there's a difference between public and private at the moment, but in general, what we thought that it's the thing as in private, it's still lacking. It has got its own system that's lacking, because a lot of people, a bigger percentage of people, they are only exposed to public health care or public health system, as opposed to a smaller percentage that can access the private. So there's a huge gap. In terms of the percentage, I may not know exactly, how much percentage, but what I know is that a lot of people, obviously, a lot of people are not working, so they can't afford medical aid.